So, an island in Germany called Borkum is presently going viral for all the wrong reasons. Now, when you hear what the people on this island are doing and have been doing for years now, you might go, oh my God! You might be wondering, how is it that this is still happening and has been happening in our so-called progressive civilized world? Well, you and I both. Now, before this island, Borkum, and the diabolical age that they're doing down there went viral, I had never heard of Borkum before. It was through this story that I got to hear about Borkum. So now, I'm going to be sharing with you guys what exactly is going on without wasting any more time. Using this lady's video I got from TikTok, she did this video where she excellently broke down the situation. I don't know, I think you might want to fasten your seatbelt for this one. And I most certainly should give a trigger warning here right now. Please, this video contains sensitive information that could be triggering for some people, especially women. This video contains talks about women getting hunted down and assaulted with objects. So if this is going to be triggering for you, or maybe just too much for you to handle, I would advise that you take a pause. Just stop watching the video right now. Quit watching this video. Go watch something more fun. Maybe later, if you are feeling up to it and you are more mentally prepared and strong enough to handle such information, you can come back and watch it. Other than that, never come back to this video, right? Just go watch something more fun. So now, without further ado, what's happening in Borkum? Why is the island going viral? Let's get right into it.
We gotta talk about what is happening in Germany, because right now a German island is going viral for a very specific tradition that this island has, something that they repeat every single year on the 5th of December. And this tradition includes hunting young girls and women and beating them. And all of this happens without any type of repercussions for the perpetrators. Now, if you actually believe that this sounds kind of like The Purge, it does, and low-key it is. This is a map of the entirety of Germany, and up here, this little part, these are German islands. They're in the North Sea, and there you can see Borkum. Obviously, since these islands are separated from the mainland, it is no surprise that there will be unique things that these islands do that nobody else in Germany does. But in this case, this is not a tradition, this is abuse. This event is called Kaasohm. It has been happening for a very long time. The gist of it is that every single year, 6 young men are chosen to, be the hunters, basically. Another man is called the Wifke. He, helps them hunt. He is the one that basically gets the women or the young girls for these men. Women are encouraged to run away from these men, and a lot of women do. They participate in this, and I'm gonna get into this later. And once they get you, this is what the men normally use to hurt these women. Cow horns. What then happens is that the woman is bent forward, and the cow horn is oftentimes used on the behind of that woman. There have been documentaries about this going viral, and this is why, this case is getting so much attention in Germany right now, because a lot of Germans do not know of this tradition at all. And certain men who partook in this said things like that they did it as hard as they could. Women have reported humps because of the injuries. They have reported a lot of bruising, not being able to walk for a long time, immense pain, and also trauma. By the way, this is one of the men who is part of this, documentary. He is from Borkum, and this is how he smiles and laughs while talking about how a woman is being, abused. So a lot of these people see it as fun, as just a way to spend the time, good old tradition. But tradition comes from something, so what does Kaasohm come from? Borkum used to be an island where a lot of the men were whale hunters. So what they would do is spend most of the year on the sea and hunt. And during that time, the women would have to take control of the island because there are no men. They would be in all of these powerful positions and basically, the placeholder for the men until they came back. But once the men came back from, those trips, they believed that they had to put women into place so they would not get overzealous and try to be in these positions permanently. This tradition came to be because they basically used that day to put women into their places, to show them no matter how much you work, no matter how well you take care of this island, you will always be beneath a man. And if we have to use violence to make you believe that, we will. So what a beautiful origin story to a beautiful tradition, right?
For me, it's just very crazy and telling what kind of people that they are that are practicing this thing on this island. When you look at what exactly they choose to preserve in their history and now brand as culture, and they choose to practice still this day. Like, they could have decided that, culturally, let's go on this day and go and hunt whales like their, people before them used to do, right? And preserve that as their culture. They pick this day and they say, on this day we're going to go and be hunting whales, and use that to commemorate our history or whatever. But they did not choose that aspect, the hunting of whales aspect. They did not choose that and say, oh, that is going to be the cultural practice. That is going to be the monumental thing we're going to be doing yearly on this particular day to commemorate whatever our history or our what we used to do in the past, our cultural practice, make that aspect culture. They decide to pick on the part where they are hunting women and use that to make culture. Do you guys get what I mean? Like, it's just crazy the aspect they choose to pick. And it's very telling, really. It really is very telling. And this is not me saying or encouraging these people, or any people for that matter, to go be whale hunters and brand whale hunting as their culture. That's not what I'm saying. Because for crying out loud, we need to leave the animals alone. Leave the whales alone. Leave the dolphins alone. Just leave these creatures alone. Let them be in the water or in the woods or in the forest, in the desert, wherever they are located. Just leave them alone and let them be. Right? Because I'm not for the culture of hunting animals. I'm not for the culture of this zoo activity, this zoo culture, caging. Like, I hate it. So I just want to be clear that that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that they should go and be hunting whales. I'm just saying that it's very telling exactly what they choose to preserve as quote unquote culture. Because these people could have decided to, let's say, okay, let them not even be hunting whales, because I don't even want them hunting whales and using that to commemorate whatever. Because like I've said, leave the whales alone, right? They could have picked any other activity. Maybe a day where they just come together and cook food and gather around, celebrate, eat, drink, dance, play music. They could have used the day to serve as a remembrance to not be their ancestors or something. I don't know. Use the day to say, you know what, our ancestors used to do some nasty-ish in the past. Good thing we are not them, and good thing we move past it. Good thing we are better people. Good thing maybe we don't think women should be under the feet of men. We need each other. Let's move forward together in love, harmony, and treat each other better, right? We need each other. We are equally as important. I see what you bring to the table. You see what I bring to the table. Both of us see what we have both brought to the table, and we realize that really, you know, there are some things that you can do that I can't do, and I need those things, right? There are some things that I can do that you can't do, and you need me to do those things for you, right? So it's like you need both hands to be able to wash your hands clean. You understand? So, like, you would think that would be the approach. That is what I would think would make more of a beautiful culture. Something that will make more sense to say, oh, this day we commemorate where we've come as a people, how far we've come as a people from where we used to be and what we used to do and what we used to be like and act like. Let's use it day to remember where we should not head back to. So let's use this day to remember what not to be. Let's use this day to remember, to remind ourselves of what we should not go back to, what behaviors we should not go back to. Like, you get, that would have made more sense to me as a culture or a cultural practice that one can look at and say, oh my goodness, that's cute. This is humane. This makes sense. This is giving civilized. This is giving progressive. This is giving what humans should be like. This is giving, evolution. We are evolving here. We are becoming better. But no, look at what they choose instead to brand as a culture, to commemorate. Like, it's just crazy.
Now, from everybody that is from Germany or understands German, I would 100% recommend looking at this person's video, because she is actually a girl from Borkum, somebody who grew up in Borkum, and she has first-hand experience, and some of the things she is saying are crazy. She talks about how women who don't participate in this are being ostracized, how she knows of a story of somebody being hung up because, they didn't want to participate, and so then the men, the protector, and, the saviors of this nation, they just hung her up to do what they had to do in their eyes. A lot of women hide at home because typically people will not break into your home to, get you. But if you do hide at home, it's viewed as if you don't want to be part of this community. So once again, you're going to be ostracized. She also talked about how you cannot trust any man. The only men she would trust are men who are directly in her family. She has seen girls being dragged out by their boyfriends, by very close people to them, by their bestest of friends. You cannot trust any man on the 5th of December in Borkum.
The fact that this has been happening for as long as it has been happening and we did not even hear about it, really, I cannot help but think that the reason why we are only just hearing about this practice, quote unquote, culture right now that's happening in Borkum is because the people who are doing it are white. Because if this were to be happening in the Middle East, if this were to be happening in Africa, if this were to be happening somewhere in Asia, trust Al and whoever else from them media outlets over there in the West would have figured out about it, found out about it, and put camera in the faces of the people to let the whole world know about this barbaric, uncivilized practice that's going on in these non-white places. Because that's how they be rolling for real. We know, we've seen the historical footstep, breadcrumbs, whatever, of these people, and how they like to, what they like to share, and how they like to paint black and brown people. And just to be clear, this is not me saying that there are not things or practices that you could or can find in black and brown nations that they should have put an end to since yesterday. That's not what I'm saying, right? There are things that people are still doing till this day globally that they should have stopped. We should have all stopped these things since yesterday. So I'm not saying that, when them are saying things, they are always lying. No, that's not what this is. What I'm saying is, I just find it very interesting that they always seem to only talk about things that are happening in black and brown countries, and somehow something like this happening in Borkum, sorry, I'm so sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong, but yeah, Borkum, they somehow did not hear, somehow have not reported. See, I call cap, CAP, because nobody can convince me that these people did not know that this is happening. They can't find out about the things that's happening in the middle of Sentinel Island. Waiting they find go Sentinel Island, they could find out about what's happening there with those people. They could find out about them other things that are happening globally, places that have not even gone, I did not even know exist in my country, Nigeria. These people used to go there and locate those places and bring their camera and their mic and everything. These people they used to go to the heart of war. You will hear that war is happening, people are dying at war. But these people used to be able to go to the middle of the world to go and take footage. They used to even go somehow place. You hear that they interviewed certain what they used to call them. What are these people called? Terrorists, or some of these, very bad people that are doing bad things in the hearts of places that you cannot even know or fathom that those places exist, sometimes in your own country, right? But you will hear that these people were able to go to those places safely, locate those dangerous people and have a sit down and talk with them, have private interviews and stuff, and live safely still. When I hear about them, my goodness, when I hear about some of these interviews that these people have had and some of the places that they've been, I'm like, how did you get there and come out alive? But they do, right? And then they come out with the information that they need, and they go to their outlets, and then they do what they want to do with their clips, and share the narrative they want to share however they want to share it, depending on how they feel. So they can do these things, but somehow they did not know about Borkum. Crickets all these years, never heard. It's not possible. If they can find out all the things that they've been finding out for years about certain places, certain practices, certain things happening, certain people and whatever, in some thick jungle, in some thick desert, in some thick is hell. These people used to go to the middle of the ocean. They can get to the middle of the ocean to go discover species that we've never known of their existence before. But somehow Borkum, they did not know. They did not. Nobody can convince me they did not know. That's the point of this 2 minutes 27 seconds rants of this portion of the video. And again, it's giving this energy of, we know how them people like to roll and how they use their media, of course, to keep the idea of white supremacy going. So they put camera in the faces of people, black and brown people's business and their practices, and sometimes even, hell, let's keep it 100, make up things to share, right? They sometimes make up things to share to keep their narrative of how they want the world to be viewing these people versus how they want the world to be viewing them white people. Hence why it is not surprising here that we did not hear about Borkum, or we haven't heard about Borkum, because they've not talked about Borkum, because of course they would not want to talk about that, because sharing what's happening in Borkum is going to play against their agenda of keeping this idea in the minds of people that, white people are just perfect. They don't participate in anything that could be considered diabolical or uncivilized or, uncouth or uncouth. I can never get myself to pronounce that word or know the right pronunciation, but you know the word I'm talking about, this word. Yeah. Sharing things like this is going to go against their agenda, going to go against the narrative that they want going about how, white people are just the best. They never do anything wrong. Everything they do is perfect. And this is why I am strongly of the opinion that as a people, we do need to start taking media a lot more seriously. Not only so we can, take back control of our narrative as a people and undo some of the lies that these people have been telling so freely and so confidently for years now about us, but to also start sharing the truth about what's really happening there, because them folks are really hiding a lot, which we know, right? They're hiding a lot. There's so many things they don't want us to know. There's so many things they don't want out there because they want to keep the status quo, the way the status quo is. So yeah, I am strongly of the opinion that we do need to, as a people, take control over our own narrative, because we cannot be letting these people constantly come in and be telling us about us and telling the world about us. Like, we have our own mouths, we can talk about ourselves, we have fingers, we can type our own stories as well. So we do need to get into that ASAP, and we also need to get into the business of unmasking and shedding light on the things that they would rather stay hidden, because I think we do need to know what those things are. Yeah.
They don't like, tourists knowing of this or talking about this. They don't like things being posted about this. And she talks about how tourists, when they come to Borkum during this time, are aware of this, but they are normally not included, because you wouldn't want to, abuse somebody that is not from this community and that is more likely to, go to the press or make a big story out of this. And she also talks about something that is one of the most shocking things, but also, an explanation as to why, for example, a lot of women do participate in this. There's also an event like this for children, but this does not go on for a day, but for like 2 weeks, she said. And in those 2 weeks, little boys are encouraged to chase the little girls. So as soon as you grow up in Borkum as a girl, you're used to this. You basically live in fear for multiple weeks in a year.
Oh my goodness, this is sad. I feel so bad for these children. These people took, what's it saying again? Catch them young to a whole different level. So they basically start grooming the children, hell, downright even initiating them into this practice at a very young age. And I would say maybe a better word for this would be indoctrinating. Yeah, indoctrinating would be a better word, I think. They basically start indoctrinating these kids at a very young age and making them comfortable with this practice, making them get used to it at a young age. So they normalize the behavior when they are young, so when they grow up it would be normal thing for them, so they won't rebel as adults. They will just see it as, oh, this is how we do here, this is what we do, and this is tradition, that's what we do, and everything is fine. Oh my goodness, this is heartbreaking. This is sad. This is like multiple counts of not only child abuse, but a variety of some other crimes that, oh my days. And it starts when they are kids. Like, imagine how traumatized these kids are right now. And I want to apologize at this point of the video, because earlier when I was giving the disclaimer and trigger warning I gave at the beginning, I did not add in there that there was going to be talks about kids getting haunted and assaulted as well, because I had not seen the clip all the way through, right? So I did not know that there were going to be mentions of kids. I'm literally just finding out right now as I'm filming this video, and I'm so sorry. I'm going to put I'm just going to have to put a different kind of trigger warning before the video even starts playing, because there's no way I'm letting people just walk blindly into this. Just know this is, I feel like my brain is even shutting down right now, because like this is a lot. This is whew.
This creator said that she was hiding behind her mom most of the time when this was going on. And now it is not difficult to explain how girls who are indoctrinated into this, tradition, grow up to become women who don't see the issue here, especially when this is all they have ever known. For a lot of girls, it's normal to have, your preferred hiding spot, so once a year you can go there and hide until the men are gone. Do you not see how crazy that is? Like, genuinely crazy that your boyfriend could be dragging you out of your house by your hair to give you to these 6 chosen dudes that can then, beat you up, and that you can report this all you want, but nobody will do it because, it's tradition. We should respect tradition. If, tradition is so important to you, why don't all the men just disappear until, the 5th of December and just go back to hunting whales? I thought that was tradition, wasn't it? So why don't you just go out and hunt?
Exactly what I was saying earlier. Like, why not go out and hunt? But then again, like I said earlier, and I still stand on it, I'm not for the culture of hunting animals or whatever. Like, no, let's not do that. But since they love to hunt so much, why don't they hunt themselves? Like, why not pick on someone your own size? Like, why subject women and children to this? Traumatize them in this way? This is crazy. And again, in my humble opinion, it just goes to show just how pathetic these people are for real. How much of a loser they are, right? Because you deciding to pray or make culture around the idea or the concept of traumatizing and preying on and haunting the most vulnerable in the community is a sign of weakness. These are coward men. This is pathetic. Very, very pathetic. It's giving weak. It's giving weak. That's it. Because why are they not hunting themselves? They should take it up with themselves. What is this if they want to hunt so bad? Leave the animals alone. Leave the women and children alone. Hunt yourselves. And again, just to be clear, I'm not even pro that either. I'm not saying that they should not start fighting themselves, because I'm not even going to be for that behavior still. I'm going to think it's weird. But what I'm saying is, if these people so badly believe that they need to be brutes, right? They need to be out here acting like some cavemen or something. They should do it with themselves. Leave the women and the children out of it. Leave the women, children, and animal out of this barbaric practice, this inhumane behavior.
And if, tradition is so important to you, why don't all the men just disappear until, the 5th of December and just go back to hunting whales? I thought that was tradition, wasn't it? So why don't you just go out and hunt? But no, that's like, that's too difficult. That's not tradition. That is not the part we want to celebrate, us actually having to work and, to do our jobs. We just like to take the part where we, can hurt women for fun. I've seen some reports on this, not happening this year because it is getting so much traction, and the island is getting so much criticism, rightfully so. Because what do you mean you raise your little girls to be afraid of men every single year? What do you mean you raise your little boys to think it is okay to chase girls and to hurt them, to leave them with bruises and permanent scarring? What do you mean you still hold on to something that was created to show women that they're inferior and nothing against a man? Now let's get to the reaction of the mainland. Most people are horrified, and rightfully so, but then you obviously have certain men who just love the idea of this. If you go into certain comment sections of, news reports on this, you will be seeing certain men saying, oh great, now I gotta go to Borkum in December. Some of them saying, if you don't want to get beat up, just don't go out. What is so difficult about that? Yeah, I mean, some of you guys get dragged out violently by your loved ones, but who cares? It's okay that women have to hide in their homes for a day a year, that little girls have to hide in their homes for weeks. And then my favorite one, if you don't like it, just, look away. Because that is how we solve issues in this country, is it not? If we do not like it, we just look away and let it still happen. Next time I walk past a house that is on fire, I'm not gonna call firefighters. Why would I do that? I don't like fire, so I'll just look away. I mean, the issue will disappear on its own. Just like on the 6th of December, women will not be abused anymore, at least, via Kaasohm. Yeah, a lot of people might pass away due to a fire, permanent damage and all of that, but I didn't like it, so I just didn't do anything. I just looked away because it will disappear on its own. I hope that this is not something that people will talk about for 5 minutes and then everybody ignores it. There needs to be a lot of deconstructing happening in Borkum. The women who are talking about this there are not being heard. They're being silenced actively. They're being ridiculed, made fun of, and they're being, thrown out of the only community they know. Most of them in there celebrate it, and I'm going to say it the way it is. They do. Just like most of the women there have been taught to like it and to celebrate it. If there is enough pressure, there might be change. And maybe someday people will understand that abusing women and girls is not tradition. It's a crime, and we are not living in the purge.
And guys, that's the video. I really want to bring this to you guys as quickly as possible. I know the video is a bit long, but I try to not make it this long, but you know, it is what it is. What are your thoughts on all of this? I want to hear down below in the comment section. Let's continue this conversation down there. Yeah, I'll be catching you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching. Bye and have a lovely day.